A lot of people come to couples therapy thinking the main issue is communication, and sometimes it is, but it's usually a bit more complex than that. Hello, I'm Dan. I'm a clinical psychologist and the director of Lavender Psychology. A lot of people assume that couples therapy is about deciding who's right and who's wrong, or that the therapist will step in and take a side. But couples therapy isn't about taking sides or deciding who's right and who's wrong. The work is focused on understanding what happens between people. Another common one is that couples therapy is only for when things are already at breaking point. So people wait until things feel quite severe before reaching out. But in practice, a lot of the work is about patterns that have been building over time. Something else I notice is that people think couples therapy is mainly about communication. And of course, communication does matter. But quite often, it goes a bit deeper than that. Because even when people know the right thing to say, they can still find themselves reacting in the same way in the moment. So the work tends to focus on the pattern underneath those interactions. And related to that, conflict often looks quite different on the surface compared to what's underneath it. So it might come across as frustration or anger or distance. But quite often, there are more vulnerable experiences underneath that. Things like wanting to feel heard, wanting to feel understood, wanting to feel close, safe, or important to the other person. Probably the biggest misconception is that one person is the problem, and therapy is there to fix them. Couples therapy isn't about fixing anyone. It's about making sense of what's been happening between people and how each person is experiencing the relationship. And just to say, everything we've spoken about here applies across different relationship structures. LGBTQIA plus relationships, non-monogamous relationships, chosen family. And I think that's really important because a lot of advice out there is built on heteronormative assumptions. So rather than trying to force every relationship into the same mold, it becomes more about figuring out what works for you and the people you're connected to. So couples therapy isn't about blame or judgment. It's about understanding patterns and helping people see each other a bit more clearly and sometimes a bit more gently. And for some people, having a space like that to slow things down can make it easier to reconnect with what matters to them in the relationship. And that's something they might choose to explore with support.